Hello and welcome to today's video. Before moving on to the Espoo bus lines, we will have to do something big. And that something big is creating the following westwards heading line of the railroad from Helsinki. Today I will be creating the regional train line E, which runs from the Helsinki City Railway Station to Kauklahti. And Kauklahti in Espoo. And the reason to why I'm creating this now is simply the fact that in order to stop or let's say prevent overcrowding the buses from the start, I will build the train tracks first. And in the beginning, it means creating another pair of tracks from the Helsinki Central Railway Station to Pasila. Now, that means that I will have to guide a couple of train tracks through this overly crowded space between the railway station and Pasila, which will eventually, in the beginning, be pretty slow. And then moving on from there, it will be a bit quicker. Yep, there is very little to say at this point, so I will just be yapping less and creating more. Hope that is okay with you. Nope, that's too close to the existing track. Creating this this part of the tracks is fairly slow because there is so little space. I want to maximize the space, and so basically I will have to operate with a lot of detail here. Actually, I will want to build this stretch of tracks a bit closer to the previous one. So there we have the first part of this track created. Every single train leaving Helsinki will stop at Pasila. That's a rule. And so after this, it will get much less crowded because we will turn left following the Espoo City Railroad or the Leppävaara City Railroad at the moment. The part of the railroad is currently being expanded or lengthened, providing another set of tracks all the way to Kauklahti, where this train will stop. And building this new stretch of track will allow a lot of new residential buildings to be constructed in the areas by this track. So it's a very important connection for the development of the capital region, if you can put it that way. I'm not really sure yet if I will build the Espoon kaupunkirata already. Oops, I don't think I will, but I might just as well do it. We will get to that a bit later on. Oops. But needless to say, like I said, this first stretch of track will really be slow to create. And the amount of these signals is fairly big because even some future what should I say? Even some future lines will use them, so there will be a lot of traffic on this stretch of track. The reason why the game clock is set at 4 AM at the moment is that I had to fix a couple of traffic issues. I finally created so many buses that the bus stations at the Helsinki metro station and the central railway station became overcrowded, and I had to move some signals in order to just ease the traffic flow a bit and avoid collisions, which have of course been happening all the time, but I have just managed to ignore them pretty effectively. So there, the first stretch of track is now there. And then we've already reached Pasila, and from Pasila we will move on. This set of railway will next stop at Huopalahti, so we can be quite peaceful. And oops, what's happening there? So, like I said, I will skip the Ilmala station. No trains running this track will stop on that station. I will also skip the Haga station. Nothing has stopped there in years, and nothing will ever stop there again. I think that tunnel section is a bit too short. Let's see if I can actually do something to it at this point. No, there's nothing to be done at this point, so then I will just play with the signals right over there. Or wait, what if I actually just skip the issue by building a bridge? So if the tunnel section is too short, then we'll just overtake it with a bridge. And there we go. This tunnel section is long enough, it seems. Just about. And then we arrive to Huopalahti station. Wonderful. Oops. 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 Sorry, my accuracy is not at its finest anymore. It's quite late in the evening. I'm still doing laundry. But yes, there we are at Huopalahti station. I'm sorry about that. And then we will connect. We've actually created the next track crossing over here already, which makes things a bit easier. But we will then connect with the with this part of track which I've already created because I need to create the connection between the city line and the Martinlaakso line, or that was known as the Martinlaakso line back in the days. But let's actually remove this signal over here. Yep, that's it. That works correctly right now. And that's the third track in here. I don't know if it exists in this area of town. But the third track in here is meant for high-speed trains running to Turku, which will come later on. The following station on this stretch of track is at Leppävaara. So we'll be going all the way until here before actually creating another station. And this is also the place where the so-called city line meets the high speed, or let's say higher speed track. Of course, no train will travel a full 350 kilometers an hour on this stretch of track. But you'll want to have options, you know. This is where we'll skip the station at... Oops, no, let's not go that far. I might create a third rail, although a third rail actually doesn't exist, so I may not create it after all. Let's see. Let's see. This is where we'll skip Pitäjänmäki. And then there's just a few more stops to be skipped. For example, Valimo, which is over there. And that's it. I have now successfully completed this stretch of track. And then what happens next is that I will move forward from the Leppävaara station. And actually I've just made the wonderful decision to skip the third rail, or the super rail, which in reality doesn't exist. And I will also skip the Kaupunkirata rail all the way, or the city line all the way to Kauklahti, because the current situation is 4 rails to Leppävaara and 2 rails to Kauklahti, and so we will run with 2 rails to Kauklahti, and this will actually have its implications in the future because it affects the way I'm creating the stations. I will get back to that later on. Oops. So we basically build overtaking rails to the stations, or I will actually build a straight track and then add the stations to the side of them. So that would be... wait a second. That would be the simplest way of handling things in here. While you are watching this video, you will have to know that I will no longer be in town. Everything created from now on, or well, the things created from now on, let's let's put it that way, will have been created in advance because I will be hanging out at a big folk music festival somewhere in Finland. And that's it. We made it all the way to Leppävaara, and then we will start creating new stations. And the first of the stations is called Kilo. And the Kilo station is located right in here. And keep in mind what I said about creating the stations. I will create a double track in here, which is the reality, and I will pass the station. And this means that while the regional trains will stop at the stations, the express trains to Turku, because that's the only place you can reach from this track, they will pass the station, and this actually concludes the fact that I will not be creating an extra track on this stretch of track. Then let's connect the station with the tracks so the regional trains, oops, sorry about that, the regional trains can transfer there, and the express trains can just overtake them at these stations right there. And there we go. After Kilo, the following stop will be at Kera. These stops have no Swedish-speaking names. I'm not even sure if they are Finnish or Swedish. But the following stop will be at Kera. This station will move a bit once the new connection between Kauklahti and Leppävaara will be finished, but this time we will just place the station where it is and where it's supposed to be in reality. This will be once again a hugely expensive project. I hope I will have enough money in the bank for it. This will also be a very profitable line for me, especially in the beginning when there are no bus lines running into this part of the area. So oops. That's Kera. The following stop is at Kauniainen. The stop is called Kauniainen Grankyllä. And there we have the connection. that's it. So we've actually come pretty far west from the original part of town. After Kauniainen, we will stop at Koivuhovi. Well, how do I know this? I just know this. What's Koivuhovi in Swedish? I should also know that, but unfortunately, I seem to have forgotten. So it's Koivuhovi Björkgård. And once again, the station is located right here, or actually it isn't, but we'll just put it in here this time. And then we'll build the rail track to pass it, or the high-speed track will pass it. And especially the track not stopping on the station. So there we are. After Koivuhovi, the following stop is called Tuomarila. Alright. And Tuomarila in Swedish is Domsby. Yes, that's quite correct. So the Tuomarila station will be located in here. And once again we will build a passing track. For the long distance trains. There we go, adding the signals then, and we are now already at Espoon Keskus, which is the official center of the town called Espoo, which really in reality does not have a center. It has several different regional centers such as Leppävaara, Tapiola, Espoon Keskus, probably also Kauklahti, and so on. But then the Espoo station, I will just have to do one more check here with the Wikipedia just to see where the defunct station on this line is, because there is a defunct station on this line, a station closed a long time ago. And I will most definitely create it. but it's located between Espoo and Kauklahti. So the following stop is Espoo, and the Espoo station is located right here, and it has a really long platforms, as you can see. They may not be this long in reality, but back in the days before Leppävaara became the hub for long distance trains, they used to stop at Espoo. So that wasn't very long ago, but when the city line to Helsinki was built, that was when the trains started stopping at Leppävaara instead of Espoo, but probably when the new city line is extended all the way to, I think it was Kauklahti, and then it's possible that the trains will also stop. Long distance trains will also stop at Kauklahti. I'm not sure what will happen with the traffic, but that's just my guess that something like that might happen. Oops. Come on. And then we will overtake this massively long station here. And if this is not enough for an express train to overtake a original train, then nothing will be enough. Because that is essentially what I want to do with these long stations. So there, and then we will find the closed station on an old map. The station is called, let me see, it is called Pelto. Okay, that was just too much for my browser, which just entirely failed right now. That's a bad thing. Let me just close it all down and put it all back up. I know I should reset my well, things got a bit interesting because I cannot reset the browser. I should reset my computer every now and then, but I'm too lazy to do that. Okay, I managed to close it. Now let's see if I can get it back up. And even better if I can get it back up without actually losing any data. Because Trying. There are issues at the moment, but having technical issues is actually nothing new for the National Railroad Company, so it's actually just pretty realistic here at the moment. Let me just see. Yes, I managed to get back up. Sorry about the delay. So where was I? I was at the station of Pelto, which was closed in 1995. And so my browser failed again. Isn't this brilliant? Let's try to get it back up. I'm really sorry about this. So yes, I am finally back up. For a second time. And now let's try to find the stop, because I will have to find it on a different map. Nope, all down again. Okay. I will open it for a third time. But this time I will try to find the right spot on the map on a mobile browser, so that I will not make things worse for this browser anymore. And once again, I'm really sorry about this delay. Something happened here. Okay, I seem to be back up. So the missing stop, which has been at some point removed, has been called a pelto or åker, and it's located by a hospital which no longer exists, so that's why it's been over there in the first place. And actually the correct place is here. And then I will only have one more station to create. And once again, sorry for the technical issues. It's just okay. I will have to build a bridge over it. Great. There we go. So this stop was closed back in the 1990s for good. I mean, trains only stopped there on demand before that, but yeah. So basically, that was back in the days when when you still had conductors on trains, so the passengers had to contact the conductor and say, yeah, I want to get out at that stop. And obviously, if there were people standing on a platform, then the train would stop there. Sort of the system which works with trams at the moment. And then after Pelto, the following stop is at Kauklahti, which is the terminus. Sorry about that. And terminus at Kauklahti is located right in there, I guess. Yes. And that's it. The rails all the way to come on to Kauklahti have been successfully created. Oh no, wait. The location of the station is all wrong. It's located right here. Sorry, I was about to well, make a mistake. And from here we will then build the high-speed track passing the station. That's it. And that's it. And we're almost ready to create the line. And add the and then I will once again do something unorthodox and add a small loop for the E line to be able to reach its future destination. So there we go. Enjoy yourself. And that's it. I am ready to build the line. And then I'm ready to create the line. In reality, the train prices go up when you get this far from Helsinki, but because I have been using the artificial price of 3.5 euros all the time, we are content with that. There is absolutely no reason to because the standard price for a ticket in central Helsinki is 3.1 euros, and it goes up from there. No, sorry. It does not stop at Mäkkylä. It does not stop at Pitäjänmäki. It does not stop at Valimo. It only stops the following time in Huopalahti. And then it stops at Pasila. and then it runs all the way to Helsinki. Stops right over there and right over there. And yeah, it's 47 kilometers of track actually, so a bit more than 20 kilometers to one direction. That is quite a lot. At least I think so, but well, yeah. Wait. Humina is not the name of a stop. Where the hell are we? Tuomarila. Great. It's Tuomarila Domsby, if I remember correctly. I will give that thing one more check. Let's see. Yes, that's Tuomarila Domsby. Correct. And after Tuomarila, the stop is at Espoo. Then at this defunct Pelto stop, and then I lost it again. Yes, then we get to Kauklahti. Line open for passenger service, and then let's go have a look at the trains. So we should go back to these KU trains operating as the SM1 in this universe. And then number 27 is up, and it will be assigned to the line E. And I will have to need okay, I will need 3 of them to be precise. That's the second one, and the third one will be required to cut the operating time low enough. So there, line E has been created, and when line E has been created, it means that I can finally move on to the Espoo bus traffic, which is exactly what I will do in the near future, probably already tomorrow. So until we get there, it's time to say bye.